When Jonathan and Emily Tracy bought a house on the outskirts of Derry, they thought they had found a quiet corner for a new life. The house stood right on the edge of the forest, old but sturdy, with peeling paint on the shutters and the smell of dust ingrained in every board. The real estate agent assured them, "Nothing special, just an old house. People haven't lived here since the 70s. Back then, Jonathan didn't know that no one had lived in that house because no one could. On the very first night, something whispered from under the floorboards. Emily woke up to a quiet sound, as if someone was scratching their fingernails against a wooden beam under the bed. She sat up and listened. The whisper was quiet, viscous, as if someone was speaking through the earth. "Don't leave." She turned on the lamp. Nothing. Just the old house, the creaking floorboards, and the wind outside the window. In the morning, Jonathan laughed. "Mice. There are voids under the house. They're nesting there." But when he went down to the basement, he saw that there was nothing for mice to do there. Under the floor was not just a foundation. There was a tunnel. The floorboards in the basement were haphazardly nailed down, as if someone had hastily covered a hole. Jonathan lifted a couple of boards, and a smell of dampness and something else wafted up, something that only smells like decaying earth in which something living had lain. He shone his flashlight down and saw that under the house was not just a pit. It was an old, narrow passage leading underground. Brickwork, damp with black streaks. On the walls, strange marks like fingernail scratches. He decided to close it back up. But at that moment, the flashlight flickered, and for a second, eyes gleamed in the depths of the tunnel. On the third day, Emily found an old box in the closet. Inside was a yellow diary with a lock. Scratched on the cover was, the entries were short, fragmented. "He's calling again. He says he wants me to stay. I tried to tell Mom, but she doesn't hear me. She only cries at night. I hear him whispering under the house. He said we're a family now." The last entry broke off on the word, "Today I," and then a stain of dried blood. On the 6th day, the cat disappeared. The basement door was ajar, although Jonathan swore he had bolted it shut. A chill emanated from the darkness. He called the cat, but instead of an answer, he heard the familiar, "Come here," and this time the voice was male, hoarse, confident, as if the one speaking was already waiting. Jonathan decided to set up a camera. At night, it recorded movement. Someone was crawling under the house. He went down in the morning, lifted the floorboards, and saw bones. Children's bones, wrapped in a piece of old blanket. On the skull, a small bough of red fabric. At that moment, Emily's scream rang out from upstairs. He rushed upstairs and saw that the bedroom door had slammed shut. Her banging and frantic screams came from inside. When he broke down the door, the room was empty. Only the window was wide open, and on the windowsill wet footprints of small bare feet. Since then, the house seemed to have come alive. At night, the whispers grew louder, first under the floor, then behind the walls, then in his head. Jonathan stopped sleeping. He talked to himself. He said that now he understood what they wanted, that they had never left, and that under the house wasn't a tunnel, but a place where everything begins anew. A month later, the neighbors complained about the smell. When the police broke into the house, they found traces of freshly dug earth in the basement, and underneath it, several bodies. One of them was a man in his 30s. A smile was frozen on his face, as if he had heard someone calling him and had finally come home. In the same basement, among the dust and bones, stood a child's doll in a red dress. And when one of the officers picked it up, a quiet voice came from inside the doll. "Don't leave.